Traditional mainstream media was perhaps the greatest loser in this race, which could not compete with the short-form attention-grabbing content. Prior to the web, news cycles were much longer. Your options were probably a morning newspaper, a favorite radio station, a weekly or monthly magazine, and 2 broadcasts a day. With the internet and social media, the paradigm quickly shifted. It went from people trained as journalists to everyone being a journalist almost overnight. It was a heavy blow to the field and served to uncover some rot that had been corroding the foundations of these institutions of trust. These new competitive forces were based on a process optimized for speed and accessibility to as many people as possible. These new competitive forces, hounding at the gates, forced traditional media outlets to adapt to survive. In order to generate money, they needed eyeballs. And the new way to get eyeballs was to treat attention like you were out fishing. You throw some worms on a hook, toss it into the river, pull when you feel a tug, and reel them in. We call this clickbait, and we know what it is when we see it. And yet, we can't help but press that button if it is on a topic sufficiently interesting to us. Traditional media marshaled its forces and responded by creating a 24-hour news cycle. The sacrifice became quality in exchange for quantity in a niche. Find your audience and hold on to them for dear life. Just like animals in a jungle adapting to a crowded and competitive ecosystem, we have all been racing to find ever narrower niches to survive. I want to remind you that this was not how the system was intentionally designed. We began with great aspirations, many of which have been realized. Again, we created an algorithm, both social and digital, that incentivizes us to seek our own niche. In many ways, this is an incredible evolution. The promise here was you got to find your people, however you wanted to define that. It could be political, but most of the times it's the types of media you enjoy consuming, interests and hobbies that align. Socially, there is a type of pressure to find your group. The result of this we've all come to call echo chambers or bubbles. Faced with all the world, we wish to individuate to a level where we feel seen. When the size of a community shifted so abruptly from your neighborhood to the entire world in the space of a few decades, how could we not react this way?